as soon as we went off the air yesterday, Antonio Pierce was let go by the Las Vegas Raiders. Yet another one-and-done situation, although Antonio Pierce did have 9 games as the interim head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. He did go 5-4 in 2023 after the Raiders said they were done with Josh McDaniels, who was done with Derek Carr, yada, yada, yada. This is what happens when you churn through some people. And obviously, the Raiders didn't expect John Gruden to resign in 2021. They didn't see a lot of those emails coming, one would think, until they did. And then it all started on that day in 2021 when John Gruden resigned. Rich Bisaccia took over. They made the playoffs anyway. Mark Davis decided to not go with Rich Bisaccia because he was the interim and Josh McDaniels, the shiny Patriot object out there on the hill. He signs him. He fires my guy, Mike Mayock, despite Mayock and Gruden putting together a playoff team that did seem to respond to Rich Bisaccia. And then McDaniels flamed out in 2023 after telling Derek Carr to beat it. We all understand how that might have roosted with Davante Adams, who specifically left Green Bay and made his choice to go to Las Vegas because his BFF was there from college. But Derek Carr is told to beat it by Josh McDaniels, who's told to beat it by Mark Davis in the middle of last season, and then enter Antonio Pierce, whose tenure in Las Vegas will be remembered for not winning enough games, but on occasion winning too many games. Wow. I did just say that.
Yeah.
Didn't win enough football games as the HC of the Las Vegas Raiders, but won too many football games as the interim head coach of the Raiders to not only get the job that Mark Davis said you're done with 1 year later, but win just enough games to be on the outside of the window of one of the most quarterback-rich drafts in recent memory, where 6 of the first 12 overall selections in the draft were quarterbacks. And they were just too far outside of the zone to go up and trade for one, or didn't go hard enough to trade for one, because I could have told you this coming in. Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell and Desmond Ridder weren't it. Certainly not when you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and a head coach in Sean Payton, who did get one of the kids who turned out to be the second most prolific one in the draft, in Bo Nix. But the Raiders won just enough to now be on the outside looking in maybe in the 2025 draft of the draftable top quarterbacks in the league in this year's draft, because they won 2 more games at the end of the season, and now they're sitting at 6 instead of sitting at 1 or 2 where they were, just 3 weeks ago when we had Deion Sanders on this program. Talk about being dated. Deion said when I brought up his son, he goes, yeah, Giants Raiders, because they were 1-2 in the draft. Right now they're 3-6 in the draft, which may be too low when it's all said and done. Won too many games to get a job that obviously the Raiders thought he was no longer worthy of. Too many games to get a quarterback to maybe help him keep his job this year. And then at the end, won too many games to potentially maybe leave them with an issue moving forward. If you're wondering how rare it is to see an interim head coach get a job and then get one and done, the last guy who was that person is when Kansas City's Romeo Crennel was an interim head coach in 2012. Fired one season after being a team's interim head coach. That's the last time that happened. Yeah, you forget what happened before Andy Reid showed up there, right? 13th different head coach, interim head coach for the Raiders since they last won a playoff game. Whew. Talk about churning through it. But what can be different this time? And it's obvious what's different this time. And you don't need Stephen A. Smith to say it, but he did anyway on What the Football with Susie Schuster and Amy Trask when they started recording their podcast a half hour after the news came out of Vegas that Antonio Pierce was no longer the HC there.
City of Las Vegas and Raider Nation is excited and intrigued to find out what kind of impact is Tom Brady going to have. Why would anybody else have say over him when it comes to picking personnel or picking who the next head coach should be? I got to be honest with you. If I'm Mark Davis, I let Tom Brady make the call. I know that might not be in him because he is the son of Al Davis, God rest his soul. But I will tell you, I'd strongly consider deferring to Tom Brady to make the decision about who that next dude is going to be. Because whoever that person is going to be, you're going to support it until there's evidence to contradict your support, just because it's Tom Brady. And that is the kind of thing that I believe the Raiders need right now, because they haven't given you much reason to place your faith in their decision-making as it pertains to a head coach, as it pertains to a quarterback, as it pertains who they elect to let go and where they allow them to depart to. When you look at Tom Brady, you talk about people that's going to sit back and take a let's-see attitude and give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't know anybody on this planet pertaining to football that would have that luxury at their disposal more so than Tom Brady.
I don't need to tell you to check out the latest episode of What the Football with Susie Schuster and Amy Trask, because Stephen A. was on one about so many subject matters, from Jerry Jones's decision-making to the Giants' decision-making to Tyreek Hill's decision-making to Deion Sanders' future in Colorado and what Deion should do. Check that out. But he's not wrong, is he? How do you not turn to Tom Brady and say, Tom, your thoughts? And everybody thinks his thoughts are Mike Vrabel. That's what everybody thinks his thoughts are. I don't know.
Unless they're Bill Belichick. That's what I said.
Dude, come on, man. If
Tommy P is saying that multiple teams have called Bill, including Tom Brady, recently,
to basically say,
what do you think?
Go get yourself a Carolina blue cocktail napkin and a pen?
Yeah.
And say
his buyout until June 1st is $10 million. That's nothing for an owner. So if you really want Bill, go get him. That's the price tag. The price tag is $10 million. Go get him.
Why do it now when they could have got him last year?
Well, you could say the same thing about Mike Vrabel. If Vrabel is that guy,
exactly.
The Patriots had a shot at him,
right?
And the Raiders had a shot at him. I mean, they had jobs open jobs, job search being conducted, and they told Vrabel, stay where you are. We're going to go with these guys, and now those guys are one and done. Now they want Vrabel. How many teams that could have had Vrabel that didn't go for him last year are now firing guys to go get him? We know two.
It's crazy.
Kind of makes you wonder why they didn't get him last year, though, right? Like, doesn't that?
I don't know.
You have to ask that question.
Let me tell you this. I think it would be bat guano insane if Bill Belichick becomes the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. But I will say there are no parameters in this sports world that I can sit here and say it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's also the Raiders. They do crazy things.
Well, this would be a crazy thing. That wouldn't be a crazy thing from the Raiders side. It might be a crazy thing from Bill's side. You made that commitment.
Right.
And now
he's already out there recruiting. He started a Twitter account.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
And he's posting pictures with recruits.
Barbecue. Did you see the barbecue picture?
Yeah.
Is that really his Twitter, by the way?
Yeah, Belichick.
Yeah, he went on Pat's show to announce it. Yeah, that is real.
Like, he posted a picture of a barbecue spot, and he said something like, who said recruiting was hard or something like that.
He verbally Carolina blue checkmarked his own account on Pat's show.
Yeah.
I didn't want to follow it from the show because I wasn't sure.
No,
if it was
it's really him, yeah.
Oh, my God. That would spin this whole damn thing off the axis.
Yeah, we're already kind of spinning off an axis now. We don't need the pow on anymore.
Well, if
crazy.
Bill's in play and all of a sudden he goes from, I don't know if there's going to be a job open, so I'm going back to college like I'm Thornton Mellon. I'm triple Lindying out of this whole business because I don't know if I'm going to get a job in the NFL. And now suddenly that just makes the NFL want him more. That's nuts. That's positively crazy.
Mm-hmm. Will Brinson tweeted out, the AFC West has a chance to be Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton.
Let's go.
As head coaches.
Those are some velvet ropes.
Take your heart pills and buckle up.
No doubt. Greg Vrabel dropped there, man.
Buckle up.
But, I mean, the conversation begins with Antonio Pierce. Didn't win enough games, won too many games. And it ends with Bill Belichick might leave North Carolina to take the Raiders job.
What?
That's how nuts this has become. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.